Finally! Your colleague over there is absolutely useless. I'll have a bowl of the house stew, if you please.
Tell him you're no server, say you're sorry, but you're fresh out. Offer him a fragrant bowl of the house stew, smirk and walk away. You know what, you can have one.
Ah! You truly are my savior.
He inhales deeply over the stew, savoring the scent of it, then scoops up a large chunk of meat and swallows it down, seemingly without chewing.
Great.
He pauses in anticipation, then frowns.
Rather disappointing, isn't it? After all I've been through, yet another tragedy.
He lowers his gaze, then looks up at you expectantly.
Call him an ingrate, you didn't have to give him anything at all. Relent and ask him what's the matter. Tell him you don't have time for a sob story, or take your leave. What's the matter?
His lip trembles dramatically.
It's my mentor. My dear mentor. He was killed by those void beasts. I told him we ought not to travel in the hills, but would he listen? No. Now here I sit, my closest companion gone, our precious cargo worth more than Lucian's right ring, lost to the beast-infested wilds. And on top of it all, the stew was a disappointment.
Ask him to tell you more about his missing supplies. Perhaps he could retrieve it. Tell him you're sorry to hear about his body and his cargo. Wish him luck and take your leave. Say you have your own problems and walk away. Maybe I could retrieve it.
Ah, then perhaps my luck has changed. Yes, perhaps this awful business might soon be behind me. Tell me, how are you in, well, Voidwoken?
Say you've slain them before and you plan to do it again. Tell him you can deal with them when they cross you. Say they've given you trouble in the past and you're not here looking for trouble. I've slain them before and I plan to do it again.
Ah, terrific news. Then what I ask will be little more than a trifling. My mentor, Liam, and I were hauling in a goodly number of fine wares from the Southlands when we crossed paths with a great brute of a Voidwoken. It made short work of Liam, may the gods rest his soul. I managed to escape, but my precious cargo was left behind. We'd invested our entire livelihood in those wares. I'll do anything to get them back.
Say you should be able to get the supplies back, but you'll be wanting a fair share of the takings. Tell him this is a big ask. Ask how he intends to compensate you. Tell him you'd be happy to help him. Decline, you have your own affairs. I'll help you.
My lucky stars. You must have been sent from on high. And don't worry, I'll make it very worth your while. This I promise, on my honour. Now, give me your map. I'll show you just where to look. I doubt those beasts out there have any use of such a cargo. I can't tell you how thoroughly you've made my day. Good luck.
No problem. Okay, let's talk to Prudence real quick. Or maybe not.
A prim woman in a starched apron wipes a glass with a clean rag. She pins you with blue, steel-sharp eyes as you approach the bar.
Blessings upon our Lucian, 7 times divine.
Tell her there's no sense in passing a blessing to a dead god. Nod your head in deference. Say you'd like to order a drink. I'll just nod my head. I don't really want to ruffle any feathers here right now.
Her eyes soften and crinkle as she smiles.
I see your mother raised you very well indeed. Rare for a lizard, but all the more impressive. You and my Kniles might even get along. What brings you to Driftwood, darling?
Kniles. The Flenser? Shudder as you recall a certain Kniles you met in Fort Joy, a sadistic torturer. Describe his appearance and ask if you have the right man.
Yes, that's my boy. Did you know him? Finest physician in all of Reaper's Coast. Top of his class. My, but it's been too long since I've seen him.
Say you knew him to be a fine physician. Say you knew him indeed. Knew him to be a madman and a deviant. Tell her you knew him well enough. It was you who killed him after all. Say you never met him, or say you can't be sure. I'm not gonna just go up to a bartender and tell her that I killed her son and that he was a bastard and deserved it. It's not gonna go over too well. Fine physician.
A fine physician indeed. That's my boy. Some say all a growing child needs is food and sunshine. I say abstinence and chastity will grow him finer than either one of those. Oh, but it's so good to meet a friend of Niles. Here, have a little something to eat. Niles' favourite, you know.
Okay.
No one in our little town can appreciate work so fine as his, you know. All his instruments and books are stored away upstairs, all but forgotten. It's such a terrible waste.
Wit's persuasion teller Kniles once described his old room to you. He said if you were ever in Driftwood, he'd like to show it to you. Say that as someone who knew her son's work well, you'd be highly interested in taking a look at his notes and implements. Gasp, she has a room full of Niles' old things. Say she must be incredibly proud of housing such a trove in her tavern. I'll go with Constitution here.
You can hang your hat on that. I'd love to show you, but I'm afraid I can't leave the bar unattended. This crowd isn't to be trusted, believe you me. But I suppose, well, there's no harm, is there? You seem to be a good sort. One of Lucian's own, isn't that right? Here, take this key and head on up the stairs. You'll find Niles' room there. He'd want to know his fine things weren't languishing unappreciated in his old room.
Okay. Well then, first let's talk to Connie Gregor.
She nods an uninterested greeting.
Here for the fight?
What fight?
This is a tavern. People are drinking. Eventually there'll be a fight. You planning on starting one?
Shake your head or shrug, maybe look around, admit that you're tempted. Tell her a fight is probably inevitable, ask her to fight with you when the time comes. Maybe.
Well, I look forward to beating the shite out of you then.
I
Bye
don't see it
now.
happening.
Till later.
But that's the spirit at least. I might start a fight if I had a non-lethal option like in Baldur's Gate, but I don't think there is one, so I'm not actually gonna do that. I'm gonna go upstairs first and then downstairs. Okay, now let's see. Second floor of the Black Bull. Probably shouldn't just walk into people's private rooms. Captain Abelweather?
Rings. Do you hear it? Do you hear it?
Who are you talking to? No one in particular? You have a lot of riches in there.
This is more like it.
Curiosity
This room has
kills the
standards.
Can I
Gets a
talk to you?
sense of
There we go.
forejoy.
A weathered woman in a dirty sea captain's tunic babbles breathlessly to herself.
The bell rings a warning and the tide is on the turn. And I without my compass.
If she held a compass, she must have been the captain. Ask her where her ship lies berthed.
The ship is in the locker. On the bottom in the rocky shallows. And all are drowned but me. And yet, can you hear? The bell rings on. The bell haunts me yet and it would drive me mad.
Tell her you hear no bell.
Perhaps I am already mad. But I swear I hear the bells. Please, make it stop.
She buries her head in her hands and cries.
Make it stop.
I don't know how. I could look for the ship then, see if there's anything going on there. Brax?
It's a shame, it is.
Oh, there's two people in a conversation right now.
An absolute shame.
What's a shame?
Alexander, slaughtered like a supper lamb. Poor dear.
It ain't right.
It ain't right. Never thought I'd say this. I hope they round up them sorcerers for good. I ain't needing one sick and avoid working on me.
You said it, Hilka. You're a true patriot.
Ah, yes. People always the best people that refer to themselves as true patriots. Never has a bad person referred to themselves as such. Okay, there's a...
Who rings the bell?
something is weird about this chest, then there must be something in there. There's someone sleeping there. I'm not gonna wake them up. I also don't really want to rob people.
Gets it sent to Fort Joy.
Yeah, I don't really feel the need to do that. What's over here? There's another staircase, I see. We could do that in a bit.
Right, Hilka. You got that right.
Baron Lever, I don't know. Maybe I'll say his name.
Here now. When one's in a small town, one must expect small town manners, I see. Have you a reason for barging into my room, madam?
You didn't mean to offend. Apologize for the intrusion. Feigned befuddlement. The innkeeper told you this is your room. Say you've no other reason than natural curiosity. Sorry.
No harm done, I suppose. Though why I pay good money for these so-called bodyguards is another question entirely. Still, I may as well introduce myself. Baron Levere, at your service.
Where are your travels taking you?
Travels, you say? And why would you assume I'm a traveling man?
The state of his boots point out they look quite travel-worn. The quality of his clothes say no man as rich as him lives in a backwater like Driftwood. His manner of speech remark he sounds like a city man, not a small-town villager. The travel-worn boots.
He laughs heartily.
Of all things, I wouldn't have thought my boots would give me away, but you're quite right, of course. I am traveling, yes, to Arx. Lucian's Day will be upon us soon, a celebration no man with a heart that is both as pious and mercantile as mine should miss.
Inquire after Lucian's Day and his reasons for attending. He mentioned bodyguards. Ask why he's in need of a guard. I'll ask that first.
I'm a wealthy man, and wealthy men need protection, especially if they accompany their wealth.
Makes sense.
The merchant's burden, you see. He must escort his merchandise, always.
What is your reason for attending?
I go because it is every citizen's duty. Our communal obligation to chant the rites of the return and pray for Lucian's divine resurrection. That said, I do have more secular motivations as well. Arx positively overflows with pilgrims during the festival, pilgrims and their purses. As a merchant, it is quite my favorite day of the year.
Say that if he's a merchant, he wouldn't mind having a look at his wares?
Music to my ears. A happy accident after all, you're barging into my room. If there's anything else you need, know you're always welcome.
Okay, what do you have? Plenty of stuff there. If we're being honest, Pothelm is better than mine, but also quite expensive. I don't really necessarily need to buy anything right now. I could do that later. An Elven Club, not particularly impressive. Magical Lizard Staff seems decent. Plus 41 HP is good, but then you look at the price tag and you know that it's not happening right now. What are those rings like? Expensive? Okay. Yeah, I don't think I can really buy much here. Fireball Scroll, Poison Wave Scroll, Resurrection Scrolls, Restoration Scrolls, Firestorm Grenade. Maybe a Firestorm Grenade might not be bad. You know, if I can't close a distance, I can at least set them on fire. And you know what? Let's balance the offer and there we go. Okay, I'm just gonna leave. That line was not coming around. That just decided not to happen. That's fine. Game. Oh, a level up. Well, I'm not gonna say no to that. I don't know where that level is coming from, but I'm not gonna say no. Okay, what do we add here? I mean, what do I do here? Wits is critical chance and initiative.
You're willing to
I could
risk
put
Fort
one
Joy
in
for
there,
one night with a lizard.
and maybe
Then you're an idiot.
another in strength. Sure. What do I put here? Necromancer is healing from damage dealt.
Got a pick who you can trust.
I mean, that could be good. Two-handed is strong too.
You got that right, Helga. You got that right.
That would be
And
my
I'm
stomach,
saying,
my lord.
you can trust me.
Perhaps
I can see a
could go
sorcerer from a
downstairs.
mile away.
I'm gonna go for Necromancer for some more healing.
If I can get
And
Alexander,
those abilities.
Day and night.
Thievery is sadly a bit of a waste, I don't really need that. I'm gonna go for Persuasion. Or do I go for Bartering? I'm gonna go Persuasion here. You can get, what do you have? You are my Lore Master Specialist. You can have, what can you have here? We're getting more and more Hydrosophists, so, right, this is, yeah, this is Hydrosophist, yeah. Let's boost that. Our new strongest attack, I think. 268, yeah, it's our new strongest attack, so that makes sense. Critical chance currently is 5%, that's, you know, it's not happening a lot anyways.
Got a pick who you can trust.
You got that right, Helga. You got
What
that
do I go
right.
for here? Maybe one
And
memory,
I'm saying, you can trust
one
me. I
constitution.
can see a sorcerer from a mile away.
Seems good. Now you
And you can't be too careful.
get
you know? If I can get
constitution
Alexander,
and memory as well.
Sent to Fort Joy.
What about
You
that?
can
Right,
have
Helga.
Necromancer, so you also heal. And let's put one more in Thievery. That seems good.
Somehow.
It's as lush as it's always
What
been.
do we give you
Now
here?
turn your eyes on my treasures, not my
I guess
person.
more Lucky Charm,
Yes, my lord.
since that is shared in the whole party anyways. I don't really need to overlap that stuff all that much. What do we have here? I mean, your spells are Arrow Thurge usually, or Geomancer, I guess. I mean, we have that Geomancer ability as well.
You're willing to risk Fort Joy for one night with a lizard.
I guess I'm gonna go for...
Then you're an idiot.
I'm gonna go for Arrow Thurge here. And here we go for Constitution and Intelligence. Yeah, that works. Next time we might go for Strength. Yeah, that should be fine then. Oh, my health has grown quite a bit. 452, 446, 438, and 420. Nice.
You got that right.
Let's see, let's continue. Is this
I can see a
Kniles' room?
sorcerer from a mile away.
It seems to be.
And you can't be too careful.
Let's
you
go
know?
in.
If I can get Alexander, like any of us.
And let's close the door. Nobody has to see what's going on in here. I don't really need the toy swords. They're not really worth a lot of money anyways. I'm more interested in reading stuff than really stealing stuff. What's in this book? Tease for Troll by Harlan B. The term troll behavior refers to the way trolls live their lives, from killing and feeding to roaring and courtship rituals. Once you have begun to identify the troll in your local meadows and caves, your next step is to find out how they behave. Luckily, this book is here to help. All trolls make for formidable foes, not just due to their size, but due to their talents for health regeneration. A half-dozen adventurers could spend many a minute slashing away at a troll, only to make nary a permanent mark upon it. Some adventurers insist that burning or poisoning may prevent a troll from regeneration. From regenerating. Imagine their surprise when a troll wields those same skills against them, with no apparent harm. This is because some trolls are weaker than others against certain elements. Virulent trolls will use poison freely, but are averse to the sun and keep to shadows. They are vulnerable to fire, which is just as well. You'll need a torch when searching for them. Blazebone trolls are eternally thirsty and thus tend to congregate near rivers and ponds. Use poison on them if you wish to halt their healing capabilities. Amphibious trolls can breathe both under and above water, but they prefer clean, fresh air, given how quickly their tender lungs fill with fog and smoke. Behavioral notes. Death fog kills most living things instantly, but trolls may actually develop immunity with mild, prolonged exposure. If you encounter such a beast, they may be harmed only when a curse is applied to the appropriate attack method.
You've got to pick who you can trust.
Trolls are typically omnivorous, but many are known to develop a taste for humanoid flesh. These creatures often lose their weaknesses entirely, though as constructs of flesh and blood, they are not indestructible. Okay. In case we encounter some trolls, which is plausible. Nothing in here. There's a book. Let's give it a read. Rock of Ages. Hubert herein ruminates on the power of certain sorcerers to manipulate the very earth beneath their feet. Great boulders may fly through the air. The dirt may mutate and poison the unwary, and a warrior may become a walking fortified redoubt. Hubert goes to great pains to seem both disgusted and baffled, but mostly he seems fascinated. Okay, what else do we have here? The origins of Lucian. Okay, there's plenty of stuff to read somewhere. That's a worn teddy bear. I'm not going to steal the teddy bear. A place, a dwarven dagger. I don't really need daggers. Rotten eggs. I don't have a use for those. Now, where's the books at?
And you can't be too careful, you know.
That's the guide to trolls. Ark City Volume 5. Where are you? Let's... Oh, on the ground. On the ground. Let's read this one. There was a great need then. Unfathomable forces of darkness, forces so great the seven themselves could not hold them at bay, began to gather like storm clouds over our great realm. And so they made a decision. They would put their differences, their rivalries, their pride aside and join in a single avatar, one who could unite their powers into a single almighty force of order and good. Lucian was chosen from among those summoned, Lucian the Worthy, Lucian the Holy, 7 times divine he was, and yet still he fell. And Ark's City Guide, Volume 5. This thick and happy guide recommends visiting a number of Ark's landmarks, including its famed cathedral, especially on Lucian's Day, the city's busiest holiday. It also makes a cautionary statement not to attempt a challenge called the Path of Blood, and to ask Aku, the keeper of Lucian's crypt, about the history of the trial. Okay. More books. Cradleson's Silly Book of Blanks. Okay. Sure, why not? Let's read it. A race asked their mighty god, one of the 7, for the power to fly. An exclamation shrieked the god. How dare you? You're no better than another of the 7 silly folk. Sacrifice your finest object to me on a day, or I shall smite thee with a plague of unclean beasts. Wonderful. That just sounds like a great and hilarious book. It's playing cards. They don't really sell for much though. Treatise on Humanity. Where's that? That's a book of rhyme? Oh, we can read that too.
And I'm saying you can trust me. I can see a sorcerer from a mile away.
Within the children's rhymes written on the pages, you find a curious chant entitled Alice Alician. Don't get close to Malice Alice, else she'll turn you to a toad. Don't you dare kick Alice Malice, or you'll be all pigeon-toed. She'll sick her rats and call her cats. She'll feed you to a camp of bats. Don't say hi to Malice Alice, or you'll fly off as a crow. Okay, I mean, turning into a crow sounds pretty cool. Intelligent, cool birds. But I guess the lifespan is quite reduced. Let's read it. This one, why the 7 gods exist, not now nor ever have. Gods? Ha! Fairy tales, phantoms. What more? Who could mistake the mysteries of nature for the hand of a ghost? The bounty and beauty of nature. It seems foolish to assign this wonder to some unknown and unknowing entity. Some may request I cast my mind's gaze not upon the lilies of the field, but upon the soul of man and the higher beasts. But this I submit, that I have inspected the inner workings of men and beasts, living and dead, and I have found no soul, only squirming red and bleeding purple. There was no god in those private chambers. I think we've read this book before, but that's fine. It doesn't take that much time to read a book, at least in this game. A broken bottle. What is this? Is this a face ripper? I have one already, so I don't really need to steal this one, but hey, cool to have. I'll take the water balloon, sure. Set wet for a couple turns. I mean, why not? What's this one? Did we read this one? I can deduct one recipe from this book, but this reads more like a puzzle than a recipe. I will have to experiment with what I can learn from these rhymes. Creepy dead magic requires one's shadow, and ghoulish ingredients, skulls and bone marrow. With parchment and paper, you then can compose malevolent magic and sinister scrolls.
You got that right, Hilka.
I don't know if we've read it here, but I suppose we must have read it at some other point then. Anything in the lectern? Ah, okay. To the lumberjack magicians. Let's read that. An instruction manual written by a lumberjack mage, daughter of a lumberjack mage, on how to make the best parchment. If you skip to the end, you will find that the secret is wood chips, whether found as they are or cut with an axe, water, in a container of course, and fire for drying. New recipe, wonderful. I'll take that sheet of paper as well, and this is a journal. Let's read it. But the Blanchard boy was lame and had no use of his left foot anyway, and I gave him plenty of amber ale to numb the pain as well. Quite kind of me, all things considered. Mother's punishments were formidable. Next time, I'll do what must needs be done, so that she'll never find out. I can only blame myself for leaving the Blanchard boy alive. Oof, rough stuff. Let's take the feather as well. Anything in the wardrobe? Some gloves, knitted gloves, physical armor. I don't think they stack up to anything we have, but I'll pick them up and I'll sell them. It's not like Kniles has any use for them anymore. There's a pew. A tub. Is that sitting in the tub? No, it doesn't really interact with the tub. That's
now
fine.
Now is not the time for a bath.
Fair enough. What's in this box? Some metal scraps and a sharp piece of metal. I'll take that. You don't really need that. You don't really need that. What do we have here? Toy sword. There's a knife, a dwarven dagger and a painting. Don't know what creature this is exactly. I don't think there's a lot else to really scavenge here. Anything in the basket, if I didn't check already? Nothing in there. I don't really need to steal another kitchen pot. Let's see. Anything else? Quills? You know what? I'll take the quills. I think they are used for some scrolls. Can I not get there? I forgot.
You've got a pick and you can trust.
I can't. Apparently, I can't get there. That's fine then.
You got that right.
Origins of Lucian, Empty Honey Jar, Toy Sword, Axe City Guide, Empty Honey Jar, Guide to Trolls, Silly Book of Blanks, Wooden Figurine. I think we are done here. Well, there's a dead rat. Let's quickly see if it carries anything, except for diseases. It carries a rat's tail and some life essence. I'll take that then. Skull with a candle. Can we light it on fire or something? Yeah, there you go. I'm sure this will not burn the inn down. Okay, let's go downstairs to the basement real quick, I'd say. Yeah, over here.
The bell rings are warning and the tide is on the turn.
There it is. That's to the main floor, and then down to the basement we go. We could also sneak up to the upper floor at some point, but we'll see. Who are you? Papa Thrash?